Hi, I just finished this book yesterday. We're going to do a quick 1-minute summary, and then I'm going to talk more about my feelings about specific events in the book in general, more spoilery things. So, for the summary, there's a girl named Vin. Vin lives in a place called Luthadel. In Luthadel, there are two different classes of people. There's a working class Scot, and then there's a nobleman. Vin meets a man named Kelsier and finds out that she's able to utilize the magic system that exists in the world, which is called allomancy. Allomancy allows her to ingest different metals, and then based off what metals she ingests, she has different powers. So she can push really hard off of different metals and pull herself closer to other metals. She can use them to enhance her senses, and she can also use them to enhance her strength. So these are really beneficial skills in order to fight. And so Vin is already belonging to a crew, and she gets adopted into Kelsier's crew. Kelsier tells her that she is a Mistborn. So a Mistborn is someone that's able to control all of the different metals versus just one metal like most people. So her and Kelsier are both Mistborns, and the book is about Kelsier training her as a Mistborn, and then their eventual goal, which is to overthrow their corrupt ruler, the Lord Ruler. And they're going to accomplish this by sending Vin in to infiltrate the noble people by acting as one of them. And on the side, they're going to raise an army to fight against the Lord Ruler. Okay. Now talking more about the specifics of the book. One of the aspects of the book is that Kelsier is sent to the pits of Hathsin. And in the pits, they're supposed to mine for this special element called atium that's really helpful to the allomancers. It's like the equivalent of the highest form of their currency because it allows them to be super powerful. It basically allows them to see into the future a couple seconds ahead and to predict what their enemies will do. And so you'll be able to see all these different lines of possibilities of what could happen. And yeah, so for that reason, the noble people try and store up all the atium and keep it away from the Scot. And Kelsier is sent there as a punishment to the pits, and he ends up surviving, even though it's completely unheard of for someone to survive from the pits. So Kelsier decides when he leaves the pits that he's going to be hired by this man named Eden, and Eden wants to overthrow the final empire. And so he takes on this impossible job of overthrowing the final empire with his crew. And I really appreciated all of the turns that they took in the novel. There were a lot of plot twists, especially towards the end. None of them were things that I had predicted. There were also things that were just plain surprising, not necessarily plot twists, and I also appreciated that as well. I appreciate the development of Vin's character. She starts out in the beginning as a very nervous, anxious person. She's completely on edge, and that makes sense for her character coming from her background, but she doesn't necessarily trust these men. Kind of seems too good to be true. They're treating her kindly, they're feeding her food, and she doesn't really know where she belongs. But then eventually, as she gets more comfortable and then begins to imitate a noblewoman, she's having this conflict of like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Part of me is this old Ska plantation person or this old Ska crew person, and part of me is involved in this crew and just sort of used to these people and feeling trusting with them. And part of me is playing this fake persona of being valet. I don't know exactly how you say her name, but she's playing this fake persona of a noblewoman. And she also strikes an interest of a man named Eland, and Eland belongs to House Venture, which is the most powerful house, noble house that exists in the world. And she sort of meets up with him at a ball. They happen to run into each other. They strike up a conversation. He's reading books, and slowly she uncovers that he's reading books that are, controversial, that have political ideas that the Lord Ruler wouldn't necessarily approve of. He's meeting in secret with people that belong to houses that his father doesn't have alliances with. And there's basically a lot of conflict going around at these noble parties between people trying to form alliances and their government system and their economy and like all of these things that are going on. And so I really appreciated that. I appreciated that there wasn't any romance between Vin and Kelsier, that wasn't set up between the two main characters, because those are the two perspectives that the story is mainly told through. I like that we added a side character. I like that the side character was interesting, that it also had character development. I appreciated the twist ending. Again, this is going to be a super spoiler, but towards the end, Kelsier dies. He dies to the Lord Ruler, and I thought that was really interesting, but it also fit with his character so well because throughout the story, he's set up as this sacrificial person. He's turned himself into a god, basically, and has gone around to all the different plantations, is showing off his scars from the pits, is talking about how they're going to overthrow the Lord Ruler, talking about how he has like extraordinary powers, and then in his final battle, he gets defeated by the Lord Ruler, and that gives everybody else the encouragement that they need in order to stand up against the Lord Ruler and fight back. I also really liked that Vin is the one to ultimately defeat the Lord Ruler, that she uses the medals to her advantage. I appreciate the twist in the end where she's not necessarily sure what's going to happen. In general, I just thought it was a really good book. I don't give star ratings, so this is not getting one. I am going to read the sequel when it comes to me. I am glad that I read it. I'm glad that I finished it. I'm not sure if it's something that I would reread again. It's going to depend on how much I appreciate the sequels, but I would definitely read something by this author again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't have much else to say as far as discussion about the book. I thought that it was really well done. I thought that it was well developed. The writing was good. The plot was good. The first 100 pages or so really lagged on for me, but after it sort of picked up, I found myself really immersed, and I read through a really good chunk of it, probably at least half of it in one day. So I'd say that's pretty impressive. And yeah, those are all the thoughts I have on this book. I would recommend it to other people, people who appreciate high fantasy. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So, bye-bye.